Hello again, this is Victor James, author of The Megacosm, and I want to talk about an intriguing character named Adam Garou from a little known 90s movie called Full Eclipse that was on HBO. Full Eclipse was basically straight to video and didn't truly become a cult classic, but those who did watch it said Adam Garou pretty much stole every scene he was in. For those of you who haven't seen the movie Full Eclipse, there will be spoilers ahead. Not much is known about the mysterious Adam Garou. From the film we learned that he was born in France and lived in the 19th century, apparently to a family of werewolves. In fact, Garou means wolf in French, and funny enough, it also means wolf in Japanese. I learned this from playing Garou Densetsu, Wild Ambition. No one truly knows how the family became werewolves, but they were hunted down in France, and Garou was forced to immigrate to America. Garou immediately fell in love with his adopted country. He graduated from Yale in 1910 with a master's degree in science and goes into law enforcement to help the country he fell in love with. Garou explains in the film that it was during this time he was able to learn to control his transformations, to not be a slave to the lunar cycle with a combination of biofeedback and drugs. He also learned that he was near invulnerable during a lunar eclipse. This made Garou a fierce hunter of criminals that plagued America's cities. As the decades passed, Garou would travel from city to city, ingratiating himself into the local law enforcement, helping to take down mobsters and criminals like Al Capone. Garou would later become a crisis counselor to get access to police officers, often looking for vulnerable cops who share his loss and his tough view on crime, so he can choose them for a special unit he called the Pack. You see, over the years, Garou was able to amass a large amount of wealth and knowledge. He was able to refine his chemical techniques to actually be able to bestow his werewolf abilities to his pack. After taking the serum provided by Garou, the cops would change, becoming pseudo-werewolves. They would bestow many of Garou's traits, like enhanced strength, agility, and they also took on a more feral appearance as they were able to heal from almost any wounds, except from anything from pure silver. And Garou took his pack with him to these cities, cleaning up street after street. And Garou was the real deal. This was not some grift to just kill people and engage in his animal instincts. Garou actually believed in the American dream and was enraged by the rising crime in the country he came to love. This vigilante justice worked for Garou until he arrived in Los Angeles in the 90s. Garou has a new pack of disinfected cops who he leads in taking down the local mob. He even has a romance with local cop Casey Spencer, who is loyal to his vision. Things are going really well for Garou in LA when he reaches out to super cop Max Dyer. Don't you love those names? I mean, I'm assuming Dyer is short for direwolf. Max has recently lost his partner Jim to suicide after he had miraculously recovered from a series of gunshot wounds, but more on that later. Garou offers Max his crisis management expertise, inviting him to his group session where Max meets the pack for the first time. Garou actually seems intrigued by Max, whose marriage is also falling apart due to his dedication to the job. Max is the perfect candidate to join the pack, and Garou tries to persuade him by taking him on a hit against a mob gathering. It is there that Max witnesses the pack members taking Garou's serum before they storm the gathering. Max watches through night vision goggles as the pack seems to transform, attacking the guests like wild animals while shrugging off fatal shots as they slaughter everyone in attendance. Yet Garou's pitch actually doesn't work on Max, who isn't too keen on putting a strange substance in his body. That is until Garou tells Casey to convince Max to join the pack. And this is where things start going wrong. Casey does what Garou says, but ends up falling for Max a little bit and sleeping with him. This is when we see another side of Adam Garou, who becomes kind of violent and domineering when he finds out. But Casey is actually successful, shooting Max to force him to take the serum, and he feels a change. Max goes closer to Garou and the pack, joining them on missions as they clean up the streets. Max doesn't entirely trust Garou, but he starts to become addicted to his serum just like the others. But then Garou's lies begin to unravel. After returning from another hit, Max visits a man locked in a cell. His face is deformed, and the man is crazed, ranting and raving about Garou. The crazed man relates to Max that his name is Tom Davies, a former cop from Miami. He tells Max that he was part of Garou's pack as well, and Garou turned on the group. You see, Garou knew that his serum created volatility in those who used it. They became addicted and began to degrade when taking it for too long or trying to quit. In fact, Max's partner Jim was given the serum while he was in the hospital by pack member Doug Crane just to see what would happen. The serum healed Jim and juiced him up for a day, but the withdrawals pushed him to suicide. And Davey shows every sign of being a junkie and tells Max to get out while he can. He becomes enraged when he sees Garou, who kills him with a silver bullet. Garou was singular in focus, taking his hatred of crime to the next level that consumed those who chose to work with him. Garou had meticulously planned all his city cleanups based on the lunar cycle. And when there's a lunar eclipse and the city deemed clean, Garou would turn on his pack members to leave behind no witnesses before he moved on to the next city to do it all over again. And Max tries to warn the rest of the pack of Garou's incoming betrayal, convincing Doug Crane that he should leave when Garou kills him in front of the pack. Max escapes with Casey, but she is mortally wounded during their fall, leaving Max to face Garou and the remaining pack members alone. Except he really doesn't. When they succeed in killing the mob boss Teague, Garou follows his plan, turning into a full werewolf and killing the rest of his pack as they feebly attempt to fight back. But Max came prepared, using the silver bullet gem used to kill himself to inject Garou with pure silver. Although Garou's methods were harsh and cruel to the police officers who trusted and fought for him, he was truly dedicated to his lifelong mission to fight crime. In fact, as he lay dying, Garou instructs Max to lie in his blood that he used to create the serum in the first place to bestow his wolf abilities on him to continue the mission. I feel like a childhood of being hunted and finding a home in America skewed Garou's sense of justice to the point that he would cross any line to keep his adopted home safe. The fact that someone with such power and lifespan could become so enraged when Casey slept with Max also shows that Garou was emotionally stunted and with a god complex that put himself above normal humans. Garou was right to use his powers to help others, which I truly believe was his goal. He was just wrong about the way he did it, sacrificing others for his vendetta. But you let me know in the comments below. I will link the full movie in the description so you can come to your own conclusions, but I really love the idea of a werewolf cop vigilante. A special shout out to my new subscribers, and I invite you to read my first book, Fiasco Adventures, available on Amazon. This is a great book and it's doing very well, and I also invite you to read my novelette, The Mark, which is also available on Amazon. And I also have a website, themegacosm.com, where you can buy the books and you can read some of my short stories for free and read some of my articles I do for bleedingfool.com. But thanks again, thanks for watching, God bless you and keep you. That's it, I'm done.